Good morning, world. Last week we talked about 5 tips to help you avoid having to fight about money. And one of the things that I mentioned was the importance of having regular meetings, regular discussions about your finances. And of course, we know that one of the main reasons that people don't do this regular discussion is that talking about money is difficult and so since it's hard, people just don't do it. And that's why today we're talking about 5 tips to help you talk money with your honey. And first is schedule it. Whether it's going to be monthly, annually, quarterly, okay, we are having our financial meeting the last Monday of the month, the first Monday of the month. However, that whatever time you decide to do it, make sure you know and you schedule it. This just because it's the first Monday of the month, still put it on your calendar where you guys confirm with each other. Okay, so Monday the 1st, are we still on for our financial meeting? Do we need to schedule it for that Tuesday instead? Do we need to schedule it at what time? All those things. Make sure it is scheduled and that both parties agree to the scheduled time. 2, have an agenda. This is not like a regular business finance meeting where you're talking about this department, that department, this department, but topics, issues that you both want to have addressed. Maybe you want to make adjustments to your budget. Maybe you have an event coming that needs to be added to the budget. Maybe there are some concerns you have about the way your wife is spending money, or maybe you have concerns about the things that your husband is spending money on. Whatever the issues are, if you have some financial issues that have been coming up that you've been noticing, some financial concerns, make sure you add those to a list. That way those things can be brought up. This doesn't mean that this is all you're talking about. This just ensures that your concerns, your issues are addressed during that meeting so that you're not trying to bring them up at date nights. 3, listen and be objective. One of the problems that we have as humans is that if it's not important to me, it must not be important. That is not true. Just because it's not important to you doesn't mean it's not important to your spouse. So that's why you have to make sure you're taking time to listen and you're taking time to be objective. Making sure that you're respecting what your partner has to say, making sure that you're respecting your partner's concerns. Any issue that your partner feels necessary to bring into that meeting, be respectful and listen objectively about it. And of course, write things down is the next one. As you go through your meeting, as you make decisions, as you make financial decisions, as you make financial calculations, it's important that you're writing things down, that you're plugging the numbers in. And again, I like using Excel or some similar program for this, because when you're discussing money, you're making money plans and you're adding and removing things. You need to be making sure that those things that you're adding and removing are making sense at the totals column at the bottom. So make sure that whatever you're changing, whatever you're adding, you're putting things into perspective and you're putting things into a spreadsheet, making sure that you're having the financial meeting leads to you having a balanced budget at the end, and that includes even your savings budget. And finally, focus on the numbers. This goes very well with number 3, where we talk about focusing, listening and being objective. Focus on the numbers. Sometimes we tend to be very emotional about the things that are important to us, the things that we want, but you have to also realize that numbers can't really lie. They don't lie. We can use them, we can manipulate them to tell different or alternative truths, but numbers don't lie. You have to focus on the numbers, and that means don't make personal attacks. Don't be catty, because this is your spouse. You love them and you want to be with them. Be polite, be nice, be courteous, but focus on the numbers. As much as I may know that, yes, I need to get my nails done every 2 weeks. This is a part of my routine. This is an important part of my life, my career, my whatever. But if the numbers don't allow me to have my nails done every 2 weeks, maybe I'm going to have to get familiar with Sally Hansen or Jamberry or some other methods of getting my nails done. Or maybe I need to find a different way of getting my golf my weekly golf game and, make sure that you're focusing on the numbers and not making emotional decisions. Finances are first about the numbers. The numbers have to make sense, and no personal attacks. Quick recap: schedule it. Make sure it makes your calendar, both of your calendar, and that you guys agree on the time so that you can both show up for it. 2, have an agenda. Make sure you put in all these things that you plan or want to or need to have addressed during your financial meeting, so that you're not trying to bring them in, on times where it's not the right time for that. Listen and be objective. Take time to listen to whatever it is that your partner wants, your partner is asking for, what your partner is saying they need, and be objective. Listen attentively. Listen for them. Listen for what is being said and not for what you think of what's being said. Write things down, because when you're doing numbers, calculations, it's important to write things down to make sure that they are adding up and that you remember them later. And finally, focus on the numbers. Don't get too personal about it. Although finances are personal, but we have to remember that as much as we want to be emotional, we may have emotional connections to certain things. The numbers in the end have to make sense. The numbers have to add up. So focus on the numbers. And that will be it for today. Good morning, world. Have a great day.